Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. Since it is still Pride month, I am gonna do this video where I'm gonna talk about some of my favorite LGBT plus books. I tried to make a list and then I suddenly forgot every single book I read, so I'm gonna talk about the ones I remembered. I hope you can find some recommendations in this video. So I'm gonna stop babbling and just go into my LGBTQIA plus books that are my favorites. First of all, can't make this video without mentioning Carry On by Rainbow Rowell. This follows Simon Snow, who is the worst chosen one ever. He is basically like Harry Potter, goes to magic school, is the chosen one to save all the magicians from this threat that has been in the magical world for quite a few years now, called the insidious humdrum. He also shares a room with his arch nemesis Bass, and Bass is in love with Simon, so it's actually great. But they also hate each other, so it's not that great. Bass is also a vampire, so it's even greater. This is a super cute book with so much great humor and funness and magic, and I love it so much. Bass is like one of my favorite characters ever, and if you can, listen to the audiobook because the narrator is great. Basically, Carry On has the best trope from enemy to lovers, where it's done really well. For my next recommendation, we have The Priory of the Orange Tree, and it is an adult fantasy standalone, but most possibly more things are coming in the world. It has an FF romance, and it is set in this world where we have the West, where it's sort of like Asian inspired, Japan inspired, I would say, where they worship dragons or vyrants as it is called. The West, they sort of are seen upon as really bad and creatures of the nameless one. In the West, there's also this basically religion. As long as the bloodline of the queen is on the throne, the nameless one would not return, so they have always had the pressure upon them to get babies and keep the bloodline on the throne, obviously, because they don't want the nameless one to return. So the Queen Sabran has a lot of pressure on her to, you know, get an heir. We follow Eid, that I am still unsure how to pronounce, but it's fine, who is protecting the queen and also uses magic. No one knows that she can use magic and is there undercover to protect the queen and keeping an eye on the queen. There is a lot of history in this world, so much great lore and different things going on, different characters, different storyline, and the romance is really cute. One of the other main characters is also gay. I just love the epic fantasy-ness of this. It's really like grand and big. Definitely like a book for high fantasy fans, where you also get, for once, some representation. The next book I will recommend today is The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. It is a retelling of Achilles from the Odyssey, which I previously did not know about, so like if you don't know about it, then no worries. The follows Patroclus, who is banished to Achilles' kingdom. He's forced to be in his household, but then turns into a companion, aka a lover. Book is written so beautifully if you're into mythology, into a bit warfare, and the cutest romance. When I think about it, it's beautiful. I need to reread it soon as well. It's really good. We then have I Wish You All the Best by Mason Deaver. This one follows Ben, who is a non-binary teen who went out to their parents. Their parents do not take it well, and they have to move into their sister, whom they have not been speaking to for the past 10 years. So that is a repaired relationship they need to figure out. They then meet Nathan, whom is full of sunshine, and it was a really sad story, but it was very touching as well. I feel like a lot of kids out there can relate and find yourself in this book. It has also great family dynamics and, you know, identity questions in general. So a really great pick, and I'm so glad I liked it as much as I did because I was really excited for it. I then want to recommend Every Heart a Doorway. Every Heart a Doorway is a portal fantasy, but instead of following people going into portals and magical worlds, it follows the people coming back from them. And since they're sort of in a withdrawal, being in a magical, whimsical world, and now they're in our normal, boring one, they go to this home where everyone has had the same experience, and you're basically, I was gonna say like an AA group, where they have talks and deal with things and deal with being back in this shitty place that we live in. It follows Nancy, who is going to this home. Nancy is also a like sexual, and one of the main characters as well is also trans. Their people in the home starts getting murdered, and there's this murder mystery. We have this world building of worlds. We have so many things going on in this less than 200 pages book. It's looked upon as like a really short novel slash novella, so I hate that they're so short because they're so good. The writing is some of the best writing I've ever read, and I really loved it. I knew I was gonna like it, but I didn't expect you to love it as much as I did. When I think about it now, I get really excited. So definitely a book I recommend because it has so many great elements to it, really. We then have the Captain Prince series by C.S. Bacot. This one is set in a fantasy world where we have Damon, who is the crown prince of his country, and then he is thrown into chains by his brother who has betrayed him and taken over after the father died. He's then brought to the enemy slash neighboring country and basically is sold as a slave to them, which is really bad. He also was the one who killed the crowned beloved prince of this enemy country, so he is really in trouble. He then meets the crown prince in that country called Laurent. Laurent is the one getting him as his manservant, which sounds really sexual. It just meant like he serves some water or whatever. So yeah, that's how the story begins. So trigger warning here for pedophilia, slavery and rape, so it has really intense scenes and it's not something for everyone. I know that a lot of people did not enjoy this, and that's okay, of course. I personally loved it. I loved all 3 books and it's one of my favorite series. Damon and Laurent are so precious, especially Laurent. He is yeah. We then have The Red Scrolls of Magic by Cassandra Clare and Wesley Chu. This one is a spin-off from the Multi-Instrument series. This one follows Magnus and Alec from that series, aka Malik, one of my favorite ships ever. This first book is set between City of Glass and City of Fallen Angels, but I have a feeling that you can read this without reading the other books because it doesn't integrate with them in plot wise. It's just characters and they're totally their own story. Wouldn't recommend that with other series as in Cassandra Clare, but if you're really just into this story, it is really kind of different from the other ones. I have read all her Shadowhunter Chronicle books, so I can say this with some sort of assurity. Of course, if you want the whole big picture and more of them, I will read all of them, but in general, just like if you want just this one, you're safe, I think. This one just followed them on their Europe trip and then demons starts attacking them. There's a lot of theory and things going on that Magnus started this cult and then had to like find out who really started this cult and why. Of course, Alec is Shadowrunner, badass, and I just love this story because it was badass and a lot of things going on, but it wasn't like end of the world plot like it is in the other books, but more grounded, I guess. And it was just great because the humor here was just so on point and it was very sweet, but also fun and exciting and full of action. This is a story that shows that yes, gays can be cool and have a totally normal fantasy book just like everyone else, obviously. And we then have Girls of Paper and Fire by Natasha Nagan. This one is an Asian-inspired fantasy following Lei, who is being forced to be the lover of the Demon King ruling this country. She is in a paper caste, so they are like in the lowest rank of the society and they are being rolled over by the demons. Demon King is like not nice at all, trigger warning in this one for rape, and Lei, as I said, being forced into this society where she lives with all the other paper girls for the Demon King. And it's a bit slow paced, not like super a lot of action, but it's really like intricate and elegant, and I really enjoyed myself reading it. I really like Lei as a main character. She's very soft. You don't need to be badass and have a sword to be strong because she's strong in so many other ways. There is an effort romance in this. Lei and Ran are really sweet together. I love the Asian representation in this. I loved the effort romance and I love the fantasy elements, and it was a really solid read. Now for my last recommendation in this video, I definitely have more, of course, LGBTQIA plus books that I have enjoyed, but I need to limit myself somehow. We have Wilder Girls by Rory Power. I just finished this and I keep thinking about it because I enjoyed it so much. It's definitely something different from what I have read like for a really long time, so I really enjoyed it. It follows these girls on this island called Baxter Island. They went to school there, but then this disease/virus came out and they don't know what it is, but it makes them sort of not mutate, but they all have like sort of mutations and faults about them after getting the disease in like different flares. It goes like in rounds. Hetty, for example, main character, is missing her eye because that happened the first time she got the sickness. It's been 18 months. They do get like supplies from the mainland, but they're waiting for a cure. And when Bayat, who is Hetty's best friend, goes missing because she gets a virus and is then moved outside the house they're living on. There's also like creatures outside the fences, so they can't go out there either. And Hetty goes to look after her, and that's when everything starts to unravel. Things are real. It's a really bad explanation because the plot is so weird that it's hard to explain it, but there is also an effort from us in this as well. And I really like the rareness in this one. It's just really weird but also shocking. I didn't know where the story was gonna go. Like, I have my theories, of course, about different things, but it was really, really good and really, really strange. The cover is beautiful, and I think that this is a book that won't be for everyone because it's so odd, but I really like the oddness, so I definitely recommend this if you have a chance to pick it up. Yay! I think that covers all the books I wanted to talk about in this video. Some of my favorite. Do recommend me some of your favorite books down below if you want to, and you will see me soon in a new video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!